Kapow! What's up, everybody? It's Monday, otherwise known as Snowmageddon, here in lovely Western Washington. It has been snowing like cray-cray. Cray-cray. A lot of people got about a foot of snow up north. A lot of people down here got about 4 inches of snow, maybe 5 inches, something like that. Been snowing and crazy, and there wasn't going to be a show today. Everybody say thank you to Victoria for making her way home to be able to work from home, so we'll be able to do a show. I've been running amok for the last 2 hours trying to get the show together. That is not my normal prep time. Happy to say we've got some stuff to talk about today and some things to do and some stuff to talk about, I guess. I said stuff to talk about, and then I really put myself in a spot there because I had already said stuff to talk about. And then I realized there's stuff to talk about, but then there's stuff to talk about. And then, with more talking and talking about talking. You know what I mean? So, but first of all, let's say what's up to the chat. Who was first to the chat today? Swift Aquarium. Not only first to the chat, but he's also a member. You can notice his green name and the bright green arrow next to his name. The bright green arrow is a marker if you are a member. Have you become a member? Did you guys order members-only jackets? Did we order members-only jackets? I didn't order mine. I couldn't bring myself to pull the trigger on ordering a members-only jacket, and especially because, I couldn't pick a color. You know what I mean? Let's just be realistic here. I just couldn't pick a color. Also, I figured probably better just to order $50 worth of aquarium stuff that I could test out and show you guys. See whether or not it's broken or not. So I figured I'd go that route. I don't know if anybody ordered a members-only jacket. I didn't see it on the Amazon thing, but just on a quick couple of asides here right at the beginning of the show, mad props to you guys for utilizing the Amazon link. We are an Amazon affiliate on this channel, so you can actually just go through that link right there, order whatever you were going to order, whether it be dog food or karate lessons or whatever you're ordering from Amazon. I use Amazon. I bet you guys use Amazon too. It doesn't have to be specific stuff. You don't have to order anything specific. So if you're ordering stuff, you just go through that affiliate. If you don't want to go through my affiliate, go through somebody's affiliate. I go through the Smile affiliate, which is it's basically a charity that Amazon puts together for kids with a cleft palate. They need that cleft palate surgery, right? Throughout the world, they need help with that. I would say it's a relatively simple surgery that could completely change somebody's life. It's very common that kids are born with a cleft palate, and in a lot of countries, there just is no availability for them to just get what would essentially be, in the United States, a pretty simple procedure and stuff like that. That's the one that I definitely, I go through that affiliate link. If you want to go through this show or you want to go through a charity or something like that, I highly endorse doing that. That is something that I would encourage 100%. Speaking of charity, we do have a charity that is really close to our heart here at this show. I was about to say at what, I don't know, at where, I don't know, at on this show, and that is our Our number one fan is Caleb, young master Caleb out there, who has actually Candy Overhaul's son, is been battling child leukemia for a long time, and as you guys know, we've been definitely promoting that GoFundMe. We're still short of the goal. And I was looking at it earlier today, and I realized we're short of the goal, and that's the charity that we like to kick in here, Fish Fam style, right? All the fish people with the fish tankery and stuff like that. We're definitely, trying to kick in our couple of bucks and stuff like that. And I am still trying to coordinate my little piece of the puzzle here. I'm literally holding on to a little tiny piece of a puzzle. You guys ever seen one of these? We make that, it makes, something that's this size, and machine thread versus coarse thread. It's pretty cool, you know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out my little piece of the puzzle there. Hopefully I'll be able to literally be out there in person, but we'll see how it goes. Brendan Doherty says the best charity is Doctors Without Borders. Well, one of the best, yes. I don't know if there's necessarily the best charity out there or anything, but I like the Smile program because it is. I wouldn't. It's something that, like I said, is something that's pretty simple that they can really change a lot of young kids' lives. That just you having a cleft palate. It's like hard to even eat. It's hard to just be a person. It's hard to just get around and just be a regular person in life. And just considering that it is a relatively I say simple, you know what I mean? Because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a surgeon or anything like that, So, not being of that, I say that it's simple, but it is pretty elaborate in those countries to get all those people out and stuff like that. So, but that's the one that I go with on a regular basis because I feel like maybe it's touching the most lives. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. As a matter of fact, I was wrong yesterday before the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was yesterday. I'm sure most of the people on here either know how the Super Bowl went or you don't care. I've noticed a lot of people that watch this show or watch my YouTube channel or whatnot are just like, yeah, what, football? I don't care. I'm an avid fan of football. I'm not one of those weird, crazy people that's yelling and lighting off fireworks, though, because of it. I'm just a big fan of the sport. I like watching the sport, and I like watching the NFL. But I watched that game yesterday, and that is one of the worst football games I have ever seen. What a disaster. I don't know. I mean, that the people at the NFL office have got to be losing their minds after how terrible that football game was. I mean, I'd hardly even call that competitive. I mean, what? I don't even know. But just a terrible game. The halftime show was bleh. The commercials were like, I'd already seen a lot of the commercials because, being a YouTube guy, like they threw the commercials up on the feed. You know what I mean? They release them ahead of time now. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. But I was really lackluster. And my two buddies that I normally watch football with, one was out sick and one ended up having to work. So we were kind of just here being chill, and a regular football game, we do have people show up for regular football games, but me being a sober guy and this being a sober household, it does limit the amount of people that want to show up for a, air quote, Super Bowl party. So we don't really throw a party or anything like that. We just have a good time, and hang out. One of the guys that normally comes is vegan, so I don't really like barbecue anymore and that kind of stuff. So me and the other guy, we kind of team up and make nachos or something like that. We kind of keep it kind of, make a big thing of guacamole and go weird with the guacamole, you know what I mean? So, it's just, That was a little bit of thing of yesterday, and we woke up today to Snowpocalypse. So Snowmageddon, I don't know what you want to call it. Just snow everywhere, all over the place. So things got a little derailed. We had no babysitter today to help out. She got stuck at her house, snowed in, couldn't get out. And so I stayed home with the baby. Vicky got home about 1 o'clock. I basically scrambled to get the show together. So, if it is kind of a lame show today, sorry. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Right? So, but yeah, that's kind of the news on this front. And, just to get the show off onto the right foot. Haven't really seen any questions in the chat. Mostly people just throwing down and saying what's up, kind of after the weekend and everything. But Rumbust with the Swedish Krones super chat, 1728 Swedish Krones. And who was asking? Somebody said, a Swede? I say, that's right. That's right. I will say the Nordic countries are climbing the charts as far as the analytics on my YouTube goes. I would have to look it up, but let's see. Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and I think it's just those three have been climbing the charts on the analytics. And I have to tell you, if you're a country like Japan and you've got like 150 million people and you're getting beat by Finland, like, come on now. What's the deal? I mean, I get it, Australia. Come on, Australia. Australia's really high on mine, actually. I want to get more Australians and more Nordic countries. And I don't know. I'm going to try and figure out how to get down to New Zealand and Australia. How do we do that? You know what I mean? Dominic Reyes asks, what do you think about South American puffers? Well, I think they're pretty cool. It's a pretty broad question. I mean, I like puffer fish, that's for sure. Most puffer fish get pretty big, so you got to have a pretty good tank. One of the biggest things about having puffer fish is that it's pretty expensive to feed them, so you better be ready for that, and be ready to handle the cost of that over long term, because it's like they're expensive when they start out, and they will get progressively more expensive as they eat more and more food. So I would take that into consideration. They need a good amount of filtration. You got to really take care of them and give them a big tank and stuff, because they will overwhelm a small tank in no amount of time. I mean, it feels like a blink of the eye, but you know what I mean. Let's see here. Jessica asks, so far, you just put up all the stuff in a 29 plants and all had the gear, at least minus the hood. Unsure what that was about. Wasn't watching anything, was too busy buying a new tank because my autistic son's 50 got a crack. Fish saving was my fun. Ooh, man, that's hardcore. Okay, so that's what you're talking about. Broke a 50-gallon and had to get a new tank on the scramble, on the fly. Whew. Man, that's wild. Man, that's wild. Big D Smoke got to hit the store before the streets start freezing over again. Yeah, the streets out here are going to freeze tonight, so anybody out in the western Washington here, just be aware. It is going to get cold again once the sun goes down, and everything is going to freeze. Let's see. Oh, Bentley Pascal was asking about, he's going to get the PAR meter from the GSAS to test the Fluval 2.0 on a small tank. He's got a small tank. He's trying to figure out what's going on with the Fluval 2.0, because that's one of those things. There's a lot of LED lights out there now that aren't as modular, or I guess modular might be the wrong word, but I guess what's the word I'm thinking of here? you know, you can change the settings. Gosh, what's the word? I don't know. I've lost my words. What's the word? Adjustable? Maybe that's the word. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of lights out there that aren't as adjustable as the Fluval 3.0. You know, that's one of the reasons I'm able to do the. I'm going to be able to do the Anubias tank, is that I've been able to just ramp the spectrum down and make sure that the Anubias are doing quite well without just blasting a bunch of algae growing in that tank. So, but that tank's coming along pretty well. Part of the video today is about the next steps in that tank, which is I have to break down some of the 150. And it's not necessarily breakdown, but I'm basically rescaping and redoing the 150 as I take out a bunch of stuff out of it, because I do have a bunch of Anubias just jammed throughout the back of this tank. And one of the big problems with the Aquascape right now is that you can't see. You can't see a bunch of the stuff that is going on in the back of the tank, like all the Anubias and all the crypts and everything that's going on in the back of the tank. Can't really see what's going on. It's got too many plants in it. It's got too many things going on. But I had thought about this quite a while ago, and so I've been gearing up for this transition over the last amount of time. So you can see a lot of the plants in this 150 have grown up pretty tall. That's kind of on purpose. You know, I'm propagating the plants and stuff by allowing them to grow tall so I can take some of the trimmings and do other things with them. Today I'm trimming the Alternanthera renekii. This is the standard size, so you can see how big it gets versus the mini. The mini variegation will stay. Oh, we need an arrow. Badoo! Arrow. So the mini will stay about this size right here. So the mini will only get about this tall, maybe 10 inches tall, something like that at most. You know, before it really just kind of starts to kind of poof out and turn into a poof ball a little bit of bright red leaves, which is enjoyable, that's for sure. We got a super chat from the Big D Smoke, Tacoma Snow Fund, thank you. And Vexing Cat with a $10 super chat for the coffee/snack fund. Man. And you know what's crazy? We got no new members today during the show. No new members. But the Fish Tank Barn coming up with the snowblower fund. That's just funny. That's just comedy. I don't need a snowblower. Ain't nobody around here needing no snowblower. That's goofy. It snows so rarely around here. A lot of people have been freaking out about the snow and everything like that because people, like, with air quotes, can't drive in the snow. This part of the world has a ton of hills in it. We're surrounded by mountains. We're surrounded by hills. All the hills go down to the ocean. So, you know, people get stuck. There is a lot of spinouts and people getting their cars stuck because it doesn't snow that often. And it's hilly. It's very hilly and a lot of turns and stuff like that, even in downtown. You'd be in downtown and your car is like 45-degree angle at a stoplight to, you know, wait for the light to change and then do a burnout and crash your car, basically. Let's see. So, there's just a lot of that going on. And I don't need a snowblower because that's just essentially a waste. It would just be a waste of money on a tool that would just sit around and go bad. You know what I mean? But I do appreciate it, Mike. Mike is the Fish Tank Barn out there. He's been going through an actual polar vortex with the 40 below out there and stuff. Luckily, the low here at night's only like 20 degrees or something like that. Fahrenheit for you international people. That's, what, like -5 or something? I don't know. Whoa, Smeel Kapoor just showed up. What's up? Good to see you. Let's see what's going on here. I forget what I was talking about. Oh, I was talking about the 150. You know, I've got a lot of rocks to move, you know, a lot of hardscape to move around and a lot of plants to move, but I had planned sort of ahead of time. I would like to say that I had you know, like written down on a piece of paper and done some like serious planning, you know. Sat down and did some serious thinking and planning and stuff. But, you know, considering I just, you know, most of the stuff I keep track in my head. I do have some whiteboards around that I do write things on. But something like this, pretty easy as far as planning goes. It's because it just means do less, basically, for me. You know, it's like I just let it grow. Just let it grow. Let it get a little out of hand. And let it grow. And then I'll be able to, you know, pull all these really tall plants and move them to the back. That's basically one of the big things. Allow them to get tall, allow them to send out some aerial roots, then I can trim them off, plant those, and then let them fill in the back without just completely tearing down the tank. Because that's one of the big things I would say trying to help people out and like pass things on to other people would be, you know, allowing them to, or giving you guys an idea of what it's like to continue to maintain a tank, but also redo a tank as you go along. You wouldn't want to do all of this all in one day. Basically, the shock on the system would be a lot for the system to handle. You know, you're basically going to be pushing a lot more light into plants that may or may not have had that much coming at it. You know, the plants that had grown up were obstructing a lot of the light. So you do definitely want to do this in little portions as you go along and keep the system running that way. I think that's one of the biggest faults I've seen from people redoing a tank or changing up a tank or something like that, is that they do completely break it down without leaving any established plants. And then they turn the system back on exactly the way that they had it before without, you know, bringing the light time back, you know, turning the lights down, you know, turning the CO2 up, doing a little water change, adjusting your fertilizer schedule, all that kind of stuff. Whereas if I go about it this way on this tank, I don't really have to make a ton of changes. Like, I don't have to be doing a whole bunch of water changes. Like, I don't have to change my fertilizer schedule. Like, that's going to be pretty easy. I don't have to get into the light timers and, like, figure out everything that's going on there. So I can actually just kind of do it little bit by little bit here. And, you know, ultimately, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So this is one that I kind of like would let you guys know about. Obviously, you could just break the whole tank down, redo it, and start it up and just go that route. But you know what I mean. Like, you don't want to just break the whole thing down and then you're basically just starting a whole new tank when you have all this good stuff. You know what I mean? Uh-oh, somebody must have been asking about lights. Need recommendations for my 10-gallon for a light to make my plants go boom. Personally, I would say like a 10-gallon, the best light out there right now is that Fluval Nano. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Let's see here. See if I can find it. Oh, this is the wrong thing, but I know somebody was asking about this the other day. This is those. This is that Zeiss. I'm probably 100% saying it wrong, but is it sold out? Good Lord, don't tell me it's sold out. Oh no, they still got some in stock. But this light right here, I have been waiting to be able to make some videos out of this light. That I've been using this light on my sump of my reef, and I've also been using it in some other areas. But this light, this little 3.0 nano light, would be awesome possum for a 20-gallon tank, for a 10-gallon tank. It's like the coolest nano light I think I've ever seen. Obviously, it is not free. You know what I mean? It's like $75.99, which, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not free. I get it. You know, there are a bunch of other nano lights that are more expensive. There are a bunch of other nano lights out there that are cheaper. I get it. I understand. You know, right? I understand. I understand going cheap. You could always just buy a super cheap like landscaping light and go that route if you like. You could buy like a desk lamp if you like. But I think if you're going to be somebody that's long-term in doing some nano tanks, some small tanks, like let's say you started out with a 10-gallon and then a year from now you're like, oh man, somebody has like a 12-gallon ADA rimless cool tank for sale, right? And you're like, oh, I'm going to redo it. You know what I mean? Then you're going to have like a high-end tank with a desk lamp on it. I don't think that's a great idea. But I think a good place to save money is the like, oh, dollar per gallon sale, buy a cheap tank, play around with it, play with the Scape, you know, set it up the way that you like, and then later on, when it comes time, like you find a really cool like used tank or something like that, you save your money on that. Because recently, just on like one of the Facebook groups I'm in, somebody posted they had like 3 or 4, even the big ADA tanks. They had those for sale because they were leaving the state for some reason. I don't know. There was a big story behind like I'm leaving town, blah blah blah, right? And so they were selling off all their ADA tanks for like dirt cheap, like so. I mean, I even considered, I was like, oh man, maybe I should get one. But I got to stick with my plan of getting the other 120s to fill out the old fish room out there. That's my plan, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to stick to my plan, you guys. I got a plan, so why not? Why not stick to my plan? I don't see a downside to sticking to my plan. If anybody out there can figure out if there's a downside to sticking to my plan, you let me know. I honestly can't wait to get to a point where I can order those 2 other 120s. I think that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun for sure. Let's see. But I digress. Either way, the that Fluval light is awesome possum, and I think just long term it's going to last a really long time. It's going to work really well, and I think it would be worth it. I personally think it would be worth it, you know, to get that light and just hold on to it for a long time. Because, you know, if you're like me and eventually, like, let's say you set up a big tank with a big sump, you can use that thing as your refugium light. And you can do a plant refugium on a freshwater tank. It's not just a saltwater thing. You know what I mean? You're going to have your own little plant farm underneath your regular tank, which I think is cool. Savannah, has it started snowing out your way? I think Savannah's down in Portland. I don't think it snowed down in Portland at all. Kathy B has snow PTSD on an icy interstate. I had to run in with a semi-truck a few years ago. Ooh. Yeah, I've been in a few gnarly car accidents myself, so I recognize the car crash PTSD. I recognize that because I get that sometimes. I feel like kind of, I don't know. The other night when I was coming home, it was raining and crazy people were driving all over the place, and it was crazy. I mean, there was probably like 4 times I almost got into an accident. And on top of it, I had Olivia in the back, and that made a double whammy. That was a double whammy of stressing me out. You know what I mean? So I fully respect that. I get it. I can empathize. I can empathize with that. Oh, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I wasn't talking about this at all, but I'm supposed to talk about it because if you haven't been over to the Patreon, I don't know. We lost a bunch of patronizers, you guys, because it's that time of month when they start charging people and they disappear. So if you've never been over to the Patreon, go over there. That's the primary how this show is funded. That's how we get along, pay the bills, and do all that kind of stuff. And now we have the membership thing too. We got the affiliate link. We got the Aquarium Co-op is our affiliate sponsor. If you don't know about that, Corey is our affiliate sponsor. So yes, if you do go through our affiliate links onto Aquarium Co-op, it does give us kickback. That's kind of the whole thing. Combining all of these forces, we're able to like do a show 3 days a week plus edited videos and all that kind of stuff. And I do 100% plan on expanding this as much as possible as the future comes heading our way. Yes, I do have plans of hiring somebody to help film or help edit or this or that. You know, I do have plans. I got plans for that. Whether we ever get there or not, now that still is to be determined. That's the TBD. You know, it's to be determined. You know, I think we I did my taxes last year. I think the total we came out to was, I think we made like $22,000 last year, which I understand is not zero. And there's a lot of people out there that would be like, oh man, I wish I could have made that much money. And I feel you. You know, I'm eternally grateful for the spot that we're at. But also, by that same extension, anybody thinks 22 grand a year like I'm some kind of weird rich guy or something, then, you know, we don't get it all twisted. Don't be getting it all twisted, you know what I'm saying? So, we still got a long ways to go, and we're going to keep going that route, and I'm going to just pinch every penny wherever I can and do the best that we can. In my head, I did realize when when it come up to camera equipment, I have set a goal this year to be able to try and go mirrorless. If you guys know, I typically shoot with my 6D Mark II. The EOS R has come out, which is the mirrorless version of that camera. It's been out for about 5 months now. The price has dropped a little bit, but that is my goal this year. My goal is to get that camera and upgrade a little bit and just keep moving forward as time goes on, or as the calendar flies around. Creedmoor Aquatics is speaking truth and love. I canceled my Patreon subscription when I signed up as a member on YouTube. Yeah, hey man, it's all good. I appreciate everybody that even just only was a Patreon for one month. I appreciate people just showing up. You know what I mean? You're like, I've never been somebody to be like, oh man, you're not a Patreon, I'm not going to answer your question or anything like that. It's just sometimes the chat goes by and I think people think I'm like ignoring them or something, but it just gets going. Daniel Keeping Fishes here. It's so cold I'm collecting my water change water with a chainsaw. I have done that before. That's pretty fun, actually, believe it or not. Although I don't know who out there would be like, that doesn't sound like fun. I don't know. I don't need that kind of negativity. That's just fun. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Vexing Cat says, it snows in Portland. It snowed for me today, and it's supposed to snow tonight. Tacoma and Seattle doesn't have the market cornered yet. Oh, okay. Well, I was saying that on the news, they said it hadn't snowed in Portland. And Mellow Moogle had mentioned that it hadn't snowed in Portland. So, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Kathy says Patreons, not patrons. Ugh. Hey, it's the same thing. I just like to say Patreons because I think it's funny. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that, you know, normally the haters are the people that are like, making up words is a sign of you being unintelligent. And I'm like, that's a good sentence. You know what I mean? So, yes, I like to make up words. It's kind of my thing. Like the Oceaneers. You know what I'm saying? T. Riddle says it's going to be 72 in Virginia. Might have to play hooky from work. 72 in February. I might play hooky from work. You know what I'm saying? I might end up missing work tomorrow. I don't know. The roads might be crazy bad. Ginger Graves, what reimburses you better, YouTube or Patreon? I'm a Patreon, but we'll switch if YouTube gives you more of the money. No, YouTube is worse. Patreon is better as far as the money split goes, but it's all good. Some people don't want to sign up with another website or anything like that. So that's mainly the reason that I basically turned on the join button. So it'd be a little bit easier for YouTuber type people to be just like, no, I don't want to sign up for anything else. I just want to click this button and turn it on, that kind of deal. But full disclosure, like YouTube generally takes between 30 and 40% of all money that you make, whether it be commercial sales or any of that stuff. Basically, that's just the basic math. There are bigger channels out there that get better cuts, but my channel ain't big enough to be yelling at them to give, to do anything. I couldn't tell YouTube to do anything and have them even care. You know what I mean? Brian Paul, what plants for a beginner rainbow 75-gallon community tank? Well, I can explain that for anybody who's in the chat. Now, there are easier plants, there are harder plants, which people will normally call them that. But I would consider them to fall into two categories of demanding and less demanding. Like, I don't think there's necessarily anything that's more or less specifically difficult. They all need different environments, and they all sort of require a little bit different lighting and different fertilization, different level of CO2. But one of the reasons that Corey and I get along so well is that he and I have talked about this on numerous occasions. We talked about this on Real Fish Talk a lot. I will bring it up to you this way. So here's the link that'll send you straight over to Aquarium Co-op's plant page. Now, the reason I say that is that the Aquarium Co-op, first of all, they get their plants in, they convert them from growing up in the air. When you get them from farms, doesn't matter really where you get them from. The farms are growing them above water. So the roots are down into the water, the plant's up above water. It's called immersed grown. Bunched plants are even worse because those are grown above water, and they just trim the top part off, put a rubber band on it, and send that stuff out. That's why you can find places where you can get them for somebody's selling a plant for like $4.99 or something, and you're like, oh, this is so cheap, I can order a bunch of these plants. Like, yeah, because they're just trimmings, basically. But one of the reasons I recommend people to go to Aquarium Co-op is that those plants are brought in, they're in pots, it's basically set up for people to be successful. This is the easy way to explain it. They're going to convert those plants, they're going to be in a pot, they're going to have nice roots, they're going to have been grown underwater, they're going to convert really, really well, and anything that they're going to ship out is something that has reasonable demands within what Corey's providing. Lights, fertilizer, and the plant itself, is going to put you in a really good position to utilize almost everything there. So I would say that plant list that he has there, that the stuff that you can order is going to be. Now, I'm not going to say that everything is perfect and constantly perfect all of the time, but it's pretty darn close, and you're going to get the right stuff. You know what I mean? So, but, just kind of looking through this list here, most everything on here is pretty darn hardy. It's stuff that you're going to be able to deal with. Somebody just asked if that's red temple that's in there. Hygrophila coriambosa is what's normally considered scarlet temple as far as the street name goes, but they're very close as far as like taking care of one or the other. They're really not that far off. So if you were growing some scarlet temple, you'd be right in there, and it really wouldn't be that weird. It really, really would not. You'd pretty much just be growing it. But looking at Corey's plant list here, I'm going to kind of run down it myself. Java moss on wood is always sold out because no one can really get Java moss. It's not about It's not about you. It's not about me. It's the guys growing it. They just, it's just really hard to grow a big farm of Java moss. Just believe it or not, it's just super hard. Anubias barteri is always a good backdrop for rainbow fish, that's for sure. Java fern on wood is always a great addition with them rainbow fish. If they're already in there, give you a good opportunity to just drop that in, and they won't be able to dig it out. I like tiger lotus with rainbow fish a lot, mainly because you can plant the bulbs, and even if the rainbow fish go all kind of bonkers and kind of tear off the tops of the plants and stuff, the bulbs and everything will be down in there, and then they will make an appearance. They will most likely have to convert. So, you know, those bulb plants and stuff like that, people will plant them in their aquarium, kind of freak out when they melt as soon as they put them in there over that first, you know, week that you're owning them and stuff. They'll kind of freak out, and then they don't wait. But you wait a little bit, tiger lotus starts sending out some really cool brand new leaves that are adapted to your aquarium. The Cryptocorini lutea is always a good choice for anybody. Cryptocorini lucens is always a good choice for just about anybody. Good filler and a really cool plant. Cryptocorini wendetii is... Can't go wrong with any of those three crypts, that's for sure. Bacopa is a disaster. Don't order it. I have some Bacopa right now, and I'm always frustrated with Bacopa because it's always sending out aerial roots. It suddenly grows super tall, and then I have to trim it, and then I have to replant it, and all that. So I'm literally just... I'm giving a plant species a hard time right now. But pretty much everything on Corys list here, that's why I can always recommend it, is like these are all plants that people could be looking to get. And let me turn the arrow on. Like if we're talking about plants that everyone should get this plant right here. And that's the Pocostemon stellatus octopus. This is a plant that you'll have a great time with. It makes this really bright, vibrant color, grows crazy fast, does really cool stuff. You can trim it, blah blah blah. So always a good choice. And but that's one of those things. That's one of the reasons that Corey and I get along so well, is that, you know, he tailors his business to taking really good care of his customers and also setting up customers for success. That's just... He does a ton. You guys have no idea how much work that guy puts in for testing things. He's always bringing in new products. Like, he literally has air pumps just running right now as we speak, because he's like, I want to see if these things can run at like full power, you know, for like a year or whatever. Like, he just has them running just to be testing them. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so highly recommend any of that stuff. Feel free to stop over there and check out any of those plants, because they're all gonna be pretty swell for just about anybody. If you're starting out, or maybe you're restarting a tank, or if you're somebody who's experienced and you're like, oh, I don't have that plant and I want it. I literally want to go up there and get all the Anubias Nana Petite and bring it all to my house and just hang out with it and just have long walks on the beach, you know. If you guys don't know, Anubias Nana Petite is like my kryptonite. I always have loved that plant. I've loved it forever. Forever and ever. I mean, forever. Seriously. I'm not even kidding. Forever. Since like forever. I just lost a lot of people. They're super mad right now. Let's see. New Mexico is asking... Joel, differences between Crypt lutea and Crypt lucens. Do you notice differences? Yes, there is a good amount of differences. The lucens will actually grow broader and taller. So the lutea will actually grow kind of thinner and shallower to the ground, whereas the lucens will actually get some good height on it if the conditions are right. You know, wendetii will also, you know, but yeah, the lucens will go up. It'll fill out some good room, and it will have different colorings on the leaves and stuff. As you guys know, right now I'm sort of focusing on the super random weird crypts right now, but lucens, wendetii, and for sure Lutea are a great addition to pretty much any tank. The one that I don't recommend personally is Cryptocrine parva. That is the worst carpeting, stupid little plant that drives me nuts. Now, does that mean you shouldn't get it? Probably not. Give it a try. Give it a whirl. I know that I have messed with that plant probably 50 different occasions and have had some success, and then, you know, disaster. Just because it's a weird little plant, and I think personally it's because I always put it in a spot like it's going to somehow spread out and fill in super fast, and then it never does. So I would say it's probably operator error every time. It's probably a fine plant, and it's not a big deal, but it's almost always me. But like the Styrogine is another example of that. Let me see if I can I turn the arrow? I forget how to do this. Whoa. Okay, I didn't expect to turn the arrow that way, but it worked. The Styrogine repens, that's right down here. Same kind of deal. It's just one of them that I struggle with a little bit, and one of the big things with that is I have a shortage of kind of magnesium, basically, in my tanks, is why I have issues getting that one. I bring that level back up a little bit, and then boom, starts growing. So it definitely could be something like that. Kathy B says, I just bought Anubias Nana variegated. 3 tiny pieces was $10. That sounds about right. That's actually not bad. $10 for the variegated Nana. That's actually a pretty good deal, honestly. Now thinking about it. What about Monte Carlo? So, oh man, Lolo watches the show for sure, because you know that I get furious with Monte Carlo. I feel like there's probably 5 or 8 plants that infuriate me. And that we've definitely hit at least 3 of them just now, so making it sound like I'm just mad at plants all the time. But Monte Carlo is the same shortage. It almost always is missing magnesium out of my super soft water here. And I do need just to add a little bit more, and I would never really want to for the Monte Carlo, because I could always just grow some pearlweed instead, and that works fine in my water. So, and that's just kind of knowing the difference between the two, what they really need. But the pearlweed's just kind of the way to go, honestly. I wonder if Corey sells pearlweed. Oh, he does. Yeah, here it is. Let me copy that for you guys. Copy. Now I have to make. See, here's one of the problems with YouTube's. I have to. Most of the links I have to generate a new one, because I can't just copy the old page. But yeah, here's the pearlweed. If you are going for that look and you're having problems with Monte Carlo, switch over to pearlweed. You'll probably be fine. DFK, Daniel keeping fish. All good, bud. Hope you're good. Well, that's good. Let me see if we got any questions in here. Molly Ann, thoughts on using acrylic display cases for tanks? I'm currently using a 1/2-inch acrylic cube case as a 30-gallon tank. 5 months or so, I'm good. I just haven't really heard of many others doing the same. Yeah, one of the problems with using display cases, it really depends on who built that thing. Typically, they're not made to hold the weight and pressure like an aquarium is, and that's all a big part of the assembly process. Now, you might have bought an acrylic case from somebody who kind of overbuilt it and just sort of, built it sort of bulletproof, you know what I mean? So you might have worked out fine. It's not something I would normally recommend to people, because the thicknesses of acrylic and the seams that are needed in basically a simple display case will, they're not ready to handle the weight, you know what I mean? They're just really not set up to handle the weight or the pressure from water and, all of the things that are in a fish tank. So that would be my big problem, and that'd be the one thing I'd be worried about. But if you found something that's really well built and you put water in it and it's working fine, I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, I've had vases, I've had old mason jars. I've probably had something that was supposed to be a case that was a fish tank at some point in time. As you guys know, I used to build my fish tanks and stuff like that. I don't find it really worth my while at this point. You know, basically when you get down to it, it's not really worth it for me to build acrylic aquariums or anything like that, or even glass aquariums anymore, because you know, I've done it a bunch of times. I've broken it down and done the math, and you know, with a good local builder, you could definitely build something that is at least the same amount of money, especially when it comes down to acrylic. You know, if I'm gonna buy the sheets of acrylic for those 240s, so I would need to buy a black sheet. I'd need to buy, I don't know, however many sheets, 1.5 sheets or something like that. I forget how much it is, but the reality with that is, like, I'd have to buy basically more acrylic than it costs me to have Jason build it. Realistically, when you get down to it, it's like, oh, I'd save some money, but it's going to take me 5 days to build it or something. You know what I mean? So it's just not worth it, you know. Jason, as a manufacturer, he's getting a much better deal on the products. He's able to utilize the cut ends and stuff like that, so he doesn't necessarily have to charge me for all of the sheets and things and that kind of stuff. Whereas if I was buying it myself, then I'd have to pay for everything. You know, doing the seams, doing the polishing, doing all that kind of stuff. Like, he knows how to do that quickly and effectively. And, you know, he still is able to make money for his business. So, like, it's kind of a double whammy for me. If, you know, if I was going to build my own tank, I think I would almost even look at it this way. Like, I'd be taking money out of Jason's pocket, you know? Like, if I was building a tank, like, because wait a minute, I could give him money, right? And then he would be able to, like, pay his bills and stuff and make a tank better than I can, because he really can. He can make a tank better than I can. And it would also free up the time for me to make other stuff, right? So, yeah, kind of the deal. Kathy B says, so when can we have an aquarium coop festival? I would love to go to Washington and see all you guys. Jimmy's videos make me want to visit the area. That will actually be the Aquatic Gardeners Association meeting. Would be your best opportunity to do that. You'll be able to meet me. You'll be able to meet Bentley. There's a whole list of people that you'll be able to meet at the Aquatic Gardeners Association convention, which is about 15 miles from my house, coming up in, I think it's May 3rd, 4th, and 5th or something like that. I think that's when it is. Hold on, let me see. Let me find Aquatic Gardeners Association Convention. Oh, there's an aquascaping contest? Why am I not in the aquascaping contest? Oh, that's right. I don't have time for that. AGA 2019. So if you just look this up, AGA 2019.com, and it will take you straight to it. So the Aquatic Gardeners Association is meeting in Seattle, Washington, May 2nd through the 5th, 2019. I will be there. Corey will be there. I bet you Jimmy will be there. I don't know. I'm going to guess. I bet you even Robert will be there. There'll be a bunch of people there having a great time. Go to that. That'll be a lot of fun. Everybody will be there. It'll be a convention. It won't be weird to come talk to people. So, and it's in May. Give you plenty of time. Speaking of festivals, there's other festivals like Aquashella, Macna. I don't really know. I don't really want to. Or Aquatic Experience. And I don't really want to say anybody else is going to any other thing, but there's those going on. And they sound like fun. I think you guys should go to them. I don't think I'm going to go to them. I'm going to go to the AGA. At this point, I'm not going to I'm personally not going to Aquashella. I'm undecided whether or not I'm going to go to the Aquatic Experience. I'm undecided if I'm going to any conventions other than the AGA and most likely ReefWorks. I'm not sure when is ReefWorks though. When is that? Where's the 2019 one? I don't know when ReefWorks is, but I'll probably be at ReefWorks. I'm not sure when that is. This coming weekend, I should be going to the Willamette Valley Fish Club meeting, so I'm going to be going to that. There's some stuff I'm going to go to, but I'm really gonna do my darndest to go to more people's fish rooms. I'm going to go to more club meetups and stuff like that. That's what I'm focusing on this year. Yes, I've been to a bunch of the conventions. Are they fun? Yes, you guys should go. They're great for fans and people who want to go meet people, and it's great for fans to go. It costs me a ton of money and a ton of resources, and I feel like, I feel like they're most of the things that are going on there is just people making money, and I don't know. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird to me. And there's just way too much politics for me to deal with, and I'm certainly not interested in investing my time in dealing with the politics of other YouTubers or other people or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a big waste of my time. A big waste of my time to even, be dealing with all those personalities and all those people. And it's a big waste of resources, aka money and time. I'd literally rather just stay home and make a video with Olivia than deal with that kind of stuff. So let's see. New Mexico Aquanics. Joel, my Pocostem and Stellatus octopus grows well, but only the new growth looks great. The older leaves get algae. Honestly, that's just kind of the nature of things. Old stuff that's had light hitting it for a long time is going to grow algae on it. That's just kind of how it goes. It's just not. That's just kind of how things go. Stuff that doesn't get cleaned off ever, and is under light will grow algae on it. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how it goes. So trim it back for sure often, and just keep trimming your plants back. It's kind of the best thing that you can do anyhow for your plants, keep them looking spiffy anywho, which is what I'm doing in there. Yeah, I'm trimming the tops and replanting them and cutting the middle out, trimming them all the way down to the little stump so I can let the stump re-sprout and then pull those out and plant them somewhere else. Let's see, Chad Kratz. What's going on there? What's it? T. Riddle. What did T. Riddle say? Can't wait for the AGA show, or the AGA to show up in rural North Carolina. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever show up there, and I don't even know who makes those decisions. So who knows? It's Nature Man says, a friend has a 90-gallon acrylic tank that has a few scratches. He asked me if the scratch fix kit works. I don't know. All my tanks are glass. Does anyone have experience? The product that you're looking for, oh man, it's going to be super hard to explain. Let me find the link for you. It's going to be the best thing. 3M makes a product called Supercut. That's a gallon. That's going to be a bit much. Super Duty Compound. Polishing Compound. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So this thing is not Amazon Prime. Oh, here it is. Here's a Prime link. And I purchased this just a while ago because I needed a new bottle. So this is the product right here. And then you're going to need like basically a microfiber bonnet or something like that for so you can polish it. But you got to go real slow. Don't go high speed. Nice and slow. I don't know what the revolutions per minute would be like. Probably only 600 or something like that. Maybe 1,000. So just like, not going wow super fast, and just slowly go through with that supercut compound and slowly just polish all the scratches out. Doesn't take that long. You set it up, just set aside a couple of hours to really polish it out and pay attention and just go slow. It's not like just spraying some Windex on and wiping it off and then being done. But you can polish it all the way back to looking new, basically. That's one of the really cool things about acrylic. Yes, it does get scratches in it, but you can polish it back to basically looking brand new. And if you scratch glass, yes, you can polish it, but you need some serious equipment. You know what I'm saying? You're going to need it's going to take a lot of equipment. Safety equipment. Let me phrase that correctly, to be able to breathe air and whatnot and not be murdered by the chemicals that you're able to polish glass with. Oh, thanks for the info. Want to help them fix this tank, but don't want to destroy it. Yeah, that's gonna be the product right there. It's a buffing compound, so don't go fast. Keep it slow and steady. A nice clean bonnet on your buffing tool, whatever that's called. I don't know. Not that great on recalling words today, but that's typical. You got about an hour in, and I just kind of start words with sounds and stuff. I'll get to the chopper now. Start getting weird. Do 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 do. Okay, well, we're getting to that point in time. Oh, Dean's Fish Room is here. What's up, Dean? Good to hear you. He says he's listening but not watching, shoveling snow in case I have to get out tomorrow. Yeah, there's luckily I've already handled most of that. We're good to go. Although Dean probably has a lot more snow than I do. I only had about 4 inches, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. But good to hear you're doing well on a glorious Monday with the snow and craziness going on. Daniel says 600 RPM. Yeah, I was thinking like 1,000 RPM though. Probably right around there. So it's a little bit faster than. Well, wait a minute. Per minute, so 6 divide 10. Maybe 600. 10 per second. Yeah, maybe 600. Maybe 400. I don't know. Slow it down. I don't know. I was trying to give out a number, and then I'm realizing that, I guess it depends on what size wheel you got, all that kind of stuff. But just go slow. Don't go all super high speed like some kind of wild man, and you'll be fine. Swift Aquariums, guess that's good for your line. Jessica says, thanks for the Amazon affiliate link. Apparently I need a 29-gallon lid now. yeah. That's always kind of the deal. That's what she said, 4-inch. I'm trying to think. Yeah, 4-inch probably would be fine at 600 RPM, I would think. But if you had something that was like a 10-inch at 600 RPM, that'd be going kind of pretty quick, because it's going quick. Oh, we lost a lot of people there. I don't know. People got super pissed and they left. I bet you somebody else probably just went live and they all got notifications. It's probably like Philip DeFranco or something. But I am pretty excited. Joe Rogan actually had 2 new podcasts today that I only got to get in for just a second. But I don't know if you guys don't follow Joe Rogan or whatnot. I would highly recommend you guys check out one that went last week. He had or Saturday, I think. He had the guy from Twitter and Square. That guy was on. I would definitely recommend that podcast. Listen to that after this because it is pretty enlightening to some of the stuff that people may or may not understand about like how you're getting stuff off of the internet. Like, how are you getting information? Like, what is it sending you? What's the deal? Like, how does this work? It'll be a really good podcast and like kind of a little look in to be like, oh, that's why it's weird sometimes. Brittany's got to go. Well, I'll see you later, Brittany Buckler. I like that. Brittany Buckler. Gillett says the podcast, Joe Rogan's podcasts have been great lately. Yeah, I agree. They've just been getting better and better. Let's see here. Let's go back to the main screen. Oh, we're back here. Coming up on the end of the show, unless we got something crazy we got to cover. Unless there's something other than Snowpocalypse, Snowmageddon. No new members today. Okay, I thought we would get a new member on a Monday, but hey, it snows, and then people are like, oh no. But thanks to the Fish Tank Barn, Big D Smoke, Vexing Cat, and Rumbus for your super chats today. Mad props. I appreciate it. Julie McClure is actually the newest member that we have. So that thing popped up. Boom. So I guess we did get a new member today. Take that, YouTube. Anywho. Oh, I got to double check the thing over here. Make sure the thing. Oh, I wanted to... I did want to mention before the end of the show here. It's like, you know, the hardcore Oceaneers are here right now by the end of the show. I don't know what you all did on Amazon yesterday, but you all bought a ton of stuff yesterday on Amazon. Keep that up. That's good. Because it's literally like just the kind of stuff that it's like you wouldn't even think people were buying it. You know what I mean? Just like food and random things. So that's exactly what we're talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? That's just how it goes. All right. Hopefully I answered all your questions. If I didn't answer your questions, throw them down into the comments down below because I'll be like, man, I don't want to miss your questions. That's not what I want. We don't want that. I want to be able to answer your guys' questions. Yeah, so let's keep that going. Hopefully everybody had a happy Monday out there. I'm glad you all came out. I'm glad you all came out to come say hi. I'm glad I was able to get on here today, even though the crazy snow was going wild. And big thanks to Vicky for hooking it up and coming home and helping out watching the baby. I'm going to go back to dad duty and editing and doing this stuff I got to do because I would like to be able to get this video out to you guys for tomorrow morning. And maybe you guys will want to share that one out. I don't know. But I'll talk to y'all later. Uh-oh, it's still going. What happened? Where's that button?